Hello, I'm Andy and it's a beautiful day. Sadly, I'm coming in here to talk about a very simple technique to improve your photography. So this technique is a really simple one. It's all about limiting yourself and choosing one subject and shooting 24, maybe 36 shots of that subject. Analyze them, find out what it is about those that you like and what it is about those that you don't like, and learn from it. And then perhaps go back and shoot another 24 or 36 using the knowledge that you've gained from the first shoot and see whether you can actually do an improvement on that. Now you might ask why it's 24 or 36 shots of the same thing. Well, it's simple. If this was a film camera and I had loaded 35mm film in it, there would be either 24 or 36 shots on it. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. The rule is simple. It's 24 or 36 shots of the same object, different angles, choosing how to light it differently, different lenses perhaps, whatever. The rules are simply 24 or 36. So I've downloaded the micro SD card from the camera. I've got them in Lightroom. There's 36 of them. I've got to say from the outset, actually I found shooting 36 of these actually quite hard. I think that's probably me rather than anything else, but I'm not going to suggest to anybody that this might be easy, because as I look at what I've got here, I now find that I've got a number of shots that are very similar and were shot in succession, in fact, so it may have been accidental. But there are subtle differences where I've moved lighting and such around, so it does, it really does pose a challenge to you. And of course, I'm just shooting tulips, and these are multifaceted things, and I found I struggled to get 36 shots. Say you're out with shooting a structure or something, I think you may find this a challenge. But when you get them into the computer and you start really beginning to analyze these as images of isolation, so to speak, I think you're going to begin to immediately see the kind of image that works and the kind of image that doesn't, and you can then kind of mutate your photography having got this new knowledge. So we're going to go through these one by one. This is the first shot here. It's quite nice. I'm not entirely certain I've got the focus perfect on it. Let's go in there, have a quick look. It's not bad, but it's at f2.8, so the focus falls away quite quickly. Having said that, the shot as a whole is quite nice, but I'm going to mark that down as maybe a 2. Moving on to the next one, I'm going to do this as quickly as I can. I'm going to mark that as probably a 3. That one a 2 again, because it's very similar to the first. This one's where we start getting some interest in my mind, at the very least, because we can get the beautiful subtle tones of the petals around the edges and such. And as we move and oops, come here, and as you look at the edges, very soft focus. There's only a tiny, very thin area of focus. Most of these are shot at 2.8. And as an entire image, you are absolutely drawn to that highlight of focus, and I really like that. I'm going to give that a 4. Almost the same shot there, so yeah, I'm going to put that as a 4 as well. I'm not sure what. Looking down the stem, it's an interesting shot, but I don't think it's interesting enough, so I'm going to give that a 1. Kind of like this. I remember shooting these. And I do kind of like this, but I think the focal point being towards the bottom left of the shot isn't a great one, so I'm going to give that a 2. These are nice. These are very nice. Deliberately looking over the edge of one of the tulips to get the stamens in the centre, and the forward edge absolutely as soft as you like. F4 this. I really like this shot. That's going to be a 4. And similarly, this one's even better, so I'm going to give that a 4. I'm going to go back to this one and give that a 3. This one's even better because it's looking more into the flower. So we've got more of a story of the flower on that. It's a really lovely image. Number 4. Not so keen on that one. Lighting's just not that. It's a bit flat, so we'll take that to a 1. I think I've got the same kind of problem here. We've got some damaged veins up on the edge of the petal there as well, which I didn't see when shooting this. I might have seen it if I was looking through the viewfinder, but this is one of the problems I find with using the screen to frame up and such. It can be really difficult to see little nuances of damage or things that are in the image that you haven't necessarily noticed. What I particularly like with this one is how we've got this beautiful feather pattern in the top of the image, but I think I'm going to give that a 3. A leaf, it's no great shapes. It's, I suppose, somehow might be able to turn that into a piece of kind of fine art, but I doubt it. I don't think it's shot that well. I think I've got the same problem with that. It's like it's a 2. This one, I think I've got the same problem with that, a 2. That one I think perhaps slightly more interesting. I'm going to give that a 3 because I think there's some potential to get some black and white out of that in the future. Again, just looking down the back of the tulip, not really what I want. That gets a 2. Very similar, but the lighting here has changed. So here we've got a much lighter background, and here I've moved the little light that I was using for this. I was using one of my UL 49s, I can't remember, or this, which is a VL 120. Between the two, I'm going to give both of them. Give the both of them 3s. This one of the leaf and the detail of the leaf, I think is rather nice. I'm going to give that a 4. I think, yes, there's a better one, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to give that a 3 because it's a very thin 2.8 aperture on that, so very thin exposed, very thin focus on it. So that's going to get a no, that gets a getting confused. That gets a 2. That gets a 4 because the depth of field is so much nicer on it, but not hugely sharp throughout it. Maybe a 3. Don't like that at all. 1. Don't like that. 1. Do like this. That's going to get a 3. Really like this. I really like this, although it's a little too fussy down the bottom edge for me. So this area down there I'm not keen on at all. So a 3, but I think for a crop, actually, let's just have a very quick crop of that. I think if we were to crop this perhaps in a square format, probably about there, I think that works much better. It's far less fussy. So having cropped it, I'm going to give it a 4. Don't like that because of the lighting here as I've been holding it. Nice view, but don't like it. 2. Oh, not so sure about that one. 2. Different lighting on that one, it's even worse. 1 on that. Slightly different position. You see, I've got a lot of things that are quite similar to, yeah. This is nice. This works beautifully for its simplicity. That's got a 4. Another variation on it with a different lighting. That's going to have a 3. I don't like the way the lighting comes in around this this petal here. That to me there just doesn't work very well for it. I'm going to come off. This is a more curious one. I've got here the camera looking down on the flowers, looking onto this table surface. And you could almost get away. I say you could almost. I don't know. Can you rotate it? Rotate clockwise. There we go. You see, it works in either plane. Weirdly, photos often don't do that because the perspectives change so much and they begin to look weird. But this one works curiously well. Still don't like it. 2. All leaves again. 2. Just hasn't got the focal depth for me. That's at f5. I should have done more with that. I think by this time I was getting probably quite bored, which is of course the wrong thing to do, but yeah, it's human nature sometimes. Not keen on that. I've got a 1. It particularly doesn't work because there's a shadow up in this top corner up here. That's not too bad. Again, this is very nice because of the detail in the petals here, but 2. Kind of like this. I've got this up here that would need to be touched out. Again, these are looking down onto the table, so I've got a bit of a textured background. I kind of like that. I think I'd shot a couple. Maybe I didn't. I'm going to give that a 3 then. Do like this. I like the way you're kind of peering into it. It's a kind of secrecy to it. I do like it. It's nice. I'm going to give that a 4. Different lighting on it, and I think this one's a 4. That one's a 3, and that's the end of them. So if I come back to the main display here, and I just put a filter on here. What have we got? Filters off, rated. Here we go. So if I want to rate 3 stars and higher, I've got surprisingly quite a few there. I've got 17, so it's about half. 4 stars and higher, just 4. I should count. They've got the numbers on the screen. There's just 6 at 4 stars or higher, and of course I can whittle those down because there's 2 here the same virtually. We're going to stick one of them down to 3 because there's not a lot there, and review that again. I don't like that again, so that's down to a 3. Come back to this. That's nice. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And I've whittled that lot down, 36 exposures down to 4. Now, that actually for me is not a bad hit rate. And of course I haven't edited these yet. I could do quite a lot, I'm sure, with them. But the purpose of the exercise is, of course, to look at the entire process of taking the photos. It's choosing that subject and choosing to photograph in different ways to gain experience, to gain practice, to gain everything to do with photography. The whole aim is to improve your photography, the way in which you compose images, the way in which you view the subject. And of course you can do this with any subject you want, and I would encourage you to go out and do it with lots of subjects. Buildings, brilliant subject to go and choose one building, one really kind of interesting building, and choose 24 or 36 ways of shooting it. A church works incredibly well, and one of the great ways of looking at buildings, which a lot of people simply don't do, it's when they're out walking, your eyes are here. Stop that. Your eyes need to be looking up. You need to look up because there's so much that goes on above our heads that we don't see, and if you're not seeing these things as a photographer, you really are doing yourself a disservice. But I do encourage you, choose this 24-36 shot technique as practice. It's really, really powerful to allow you to look at what it is you're shooting, fix it in your head as to what is working really nicely, and apply those techniques that work really nicely in further photographic exercises, and you will improve, and you'll probably improve quite quickly. Anyway, I hope that's really useful to you. One thing that I do like to do, which is evident actually in all of these photos here, is I do like to take photos about things rather than of things, and check out the video over here to find out a little bit more about that. Is it over here, or I don't know, where is it? I've probably blocked my face out with it by now. Thanks for watching. Click the like button, all that kind of stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.